Whatever you do is not what it is. Whatever you don't do is also not what it is. Where does that leave you? That leaves you Tantra. That leaves you meditation. That leaves you in good practice. Might leave you a little confounded, but that's the idea. Well, the wisdom teachings declare that there is no such thing as self. Not from any point. There's no such thing. It's an assumption. Self, ego, even mind. All of these are assumptions. Conceptual assumptions. Say, of what? So what we're calling then, as you were referring to it, as the appearance of ego, right, or self-limitation, if that's what ego translates into in terms of an action. Say, it's machinery. It's karma. Properly examined, because most of it, if we were talking about unconscious beings, or unenlightened beings, and they're being wrapped up in their self-stuff, so self-motivation. Not really self-realization, but self-motivation. Self-building, self-cherishing motivation. So all of this is part of the development of self, which is developmental, and this pre-Dhamma. Maybe beginner's Dhamma. Because it knows that you have any kind of self-anything, it's probably beginner's Dhamma. If we can go deeper into who's creating the assumption and what's creating the assumption, then we get into more serious, not even serious, but humorous practice. And if we get beyond the creating, once we realize that there's something going on that's creating, if we can get beyond the creating with it, you might be enlightened at that point. So we have to undo the piling on, the what-ifs, but the buts, the conditions, the apprehensions, the formulations, the doubting, skepticism, and so on. We have to consider, not necessarily immediately realize, but consider what being is. Just that. To be or not to be being, I think is a better phrase. So that's the question. And in the spirit of the penetration of intelligence into the beingness, so there can be discovered a sense of who knows. It's not doubt. It's intelligence. Reasonably applied to the dilemma of being the concept and not being the concept. Any concept. In the process of trying to understand what the concept is, you start to disarm whatever you're calling the machinery is that's concerned or attached to that. And the proper examination, or heat, or burn, disappears. The question disappears. The answer disappears. The questioner disappears, and the answerer disappears altogether. realization. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Could it be that the main issue to do with enlightenment, the main problem is misidentification as self and then self and other, and the separateness and conflict that arises with that thing, with that situation, with that misunderstanding? Or is it a more sort of robust and complete experience that is just worked through holistically? Because I think that a lot of practitioners want it to be a specific thing to deal with and work through.
Well, they are the specific thing to deal with. See, their search is the specific thing to deal with. The idea is to undo it. A search consists of a lot of attachment, see? Mental programming, maybe some curiosity and, decent things, intellectual interest and so on. But that's like noise outside of the monastery. It's chitter-chatter on the bench outside of it. And people are smoking and carrying on and talking about their business and so on. All of that has to be left at the door. Right there, dropped, gone, done, released. By the time you enter the doorway, it has to be forgotten already. And you're ready for sitting. There's no questions. Get down to business like that. And before that can be effective, people have to know that they are not this karma already, not this troubledness, this dilemma. It doesn't exist. It's made up. It's they call out now how they're fake news. Excuse me. Well, but that's what it is, right? It's a lie. It's false. And that's what we need to get to, if you can, whoever it is that's seeking, be honest enough to know that what you're seeking is not real. That includes, and probably primarily includes the search for enlightenment. As if it's a location or another dimension. See, the whole premise of that is false already. It's beside the point. See. When the word actual presence comes up, or the presence of actuality comes up, it's not mental. Sitting is not mental, really. It's not even conceptual. Very sensual. It doesn't require any head work at all. Just sitting, wondering. That's a perception concept. So then what we're talking about is not about question and seeking. One's relationship, you mentioned identity. That could be part of what is being stated now. Association with what? Self, person? Selflessness? No person? Phenomena? Or no phenomena? All of them are empty from the get-go. They're empty as spoken and brought into speech. They're empty in fact. And what? We are dabbling in emptiness. I'm trying to realize, more or less, wanting to use the sense of non-existing, but existing paradox, emptiness, as a way to expand, open to the heart is the universe, and find peace, not more to think about, not more to wonder about or know, just peace. Nothing. Emptiness. Light. Okayness. Compassion. That may be truth. At the heart level. Profundity. Preciousness. And life. Life. What's wrong with that?
Ultimately, is it that one finds?
It's no finding. There's no finder, nothing found. There. We could say there's the emptiness of realization, which is fair. The emptiness of enlightenment, it's fair. The emptiness of finding, of something to be found, and the emptiness of nothing to be found at all. So this is a different dimension of intelligence functioning in terms of relationship to the physical condition of the universe. It's like non-functional intelligence. It's like, in other words, going through the walls, penetrating beyond the walls. It's like things are not things. Space is not space. Matter is not matter. Energy is not energy. Mind is not mind. A very subtle, intuitive perception of reality as a true constant, invariable constant of light and only light. Clear, utterly, absolutely, pristine. These are words that he is. There are no words for it. It's called is. The what and who and why is.
Is our experience presently in this very moment of light already, or is it prior to that?
There's no question of it. The question is after the fact. Without that being the fact, there'd be nothing. We have to understand that equation. Without emptiness, there's no somethingness. Or, put it differently, without matter, there's no spirit. Without spirit, there's no matter. Without love, there's no hate. There's no hate. Without hate, there's no love. The duality as balance already existing and non-existing. It's the play of the universe. So it's up to intelligence to perceive it, to work with it, manage it even, and then release it, let it go. As you do every night when you go hit the sack. So you let it go whether you want to or not, you let it go. The whole thing is turned off. And you go to truth for the first time in the day. Say, I'm going to truth. I'm going to non-existing truth right now. I'm going to plunge into it like my favorite bathtub. Consciousness. And we're talking about the consciousness of no consciousness. So we have to deal with the beauty of that construct. The is of is not. It's so simple, it's like razor sharp. So it's built into everyone as yin and yang. To put it in a nice conceptual form, this and that. The light and the dark, the high and the low, the truth and the lie. These are concepts. When considered from their source, don't exist. See, it's very possible that when one goes to sleep, they're having all kinds of dreams they can't remember. So it's not like they went into the stupor unconscious. They can't remember. That becomes then a question of memory or non-memory. And then if there is something deeper, like the inner master, the heart of something mysterious in each person, the inner guru, let's say, inner angel, or whatever one wants to call it, to make sense to themselves, your inner self, it's on and off. It knows and doesn't know, but it knows it doesn't know. So, and by the same token, what it doesn't know, it knows. So the important thing is to know that it doesn't know, and that's enlightenment. In a point. It's a blink of light, spark. No, you don't know. So you often see Zen masters say, who knows? Who cares? It's not quite abandoning anything or negating anything, it's acknowledging the bigness of the thing. It's bigger than language. It's bigger than description and concepts. It's bigger than talk. And it's not like the teachers are avoiding or evading it. No, they're instructing you. Saying, think more deeply and think beyond that. So, don't be stuck in anything.
And I can relate to that because even now as we're talking, I'm in a certain way inspired or compelled to create some sort of theoretical jalopy to contain the description of and make understandable the experience of omniluminosity.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
And it's
zero. That's the beauty of it. It's not common to equate emptiness and spirit. It's not common. Those words rarely come up conjoined. But they're the same. The radiance of emptiness and compassion, it's spirit. It's ultra luminosity, beyond luminosity. It's so that it's beyond itself. There's no description. It's like gone. So then gone comes in to more appropriately describe everything. Already gone. Always here, but already gone. Wow, so simple.
Some traditions have proposed that the nature of reality is this, or it is that, or it is light, or it is sound, or it is something.
They have their concepts for it. Yeah, every tradition has certain concepts for it. Yeah.
Based on what you were saying earlier, is it any safer to say that the nature of reality is goneness?
Incomprehensible. And since we are not at the level, ordinarily, of the incomprehensibility of itself, then we have to come up with other things. Right? We have to fill in the space, right? With more self-pleasing concepts, right? Self-healing concepts, self-building concepts, because it's like not anywhere. Yeah? It's in fact nowhere. And then not even nowhere as a lockdown. Saying, oh, he's nowhere. Right? Even that is too solid. So then this is a burning of the mind's function of creating matter at the mental level. And I'm burning that. And saying, for now, this is what practice is about. Not even dismissing it. Just disowning it. Actually yielding to your beingness. As such. Beingness as such. Right? The beingness itself. They tag as it is. As it is means, what are you talking about? As it is what? More of this, that, whatever, right? So as it is. It's better. Just isness. Right? It's just beingness as it is. Mm-hmm. Mic stand. Chair, walls, beingness. Shirt, jacket, body, flesh, mind. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beingness as it is. Just that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Peace. Mm. And not necessarily abiding in this mood or in this state or in this condition or in this attitude or view, whatever it's perceived to be. But because of what it is as this clearness, which they use all the words, the buzzwords, right, or emptiness, or trueness, one more easily and directly gets done what they have to get done. Mm-hmm. So the nothingness then is nothing standing in the way. The nothingness then is nothing to suffer. Nothing is worth suffering, right? Or being stuck in or preoccupied with, and dazzled by, or entertained by, or confused by, or defeated by. Mm-hmm. That's simple. Incomprehensibly so. In kindergarten, you learn images. You start to identify things. When you get to the first grade, you start to learn the alphabet and progress from there. Before you know it, you're putting together words. You're able to spell them. These are devices that are part of the development of human intelligence that at some point have to be abandoned. We have to get beyond the developmental side and to the realization side. We have to stop developing development, right? And going through the same motions, and learning. Right? Go beyond that. Into knowing, beyond knowing. And then, if possible, leap into being beyond being. It's a radical leap. That's a word. It's a leap. It's like a poof. Already here. Only already here. Peace already here. Only already here. Love already here. Only already here. realized to perfection. It is what it is. It's surreal. You make it real. It's not transcendent realization. And so we use the term transcendent realization. There is no such thing. But we use it to balance out neuroses. So I'd say there's no neuroses either. But as humans, we enter this phase of mental perception of reality. And that's good as long as we are not stuck or defined by it, absolutely. And to the degree of creating unhappiness for oneself or others. Because there is the universe, the vast expanse of the heart is waiting for everyone. Call it the Great Spirit. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's what it is. It's just big. It's bigger than you can imagine. But it helps to imagine. You can imagine it. Talking about the universes beyond the universes. So gone, it's like translation into silent being. We call transcendence. It's not transcendence, it's something else. So it would have to be beyond transcendence. Or equal to everything at the same time and nothing. Isn't that bad?
And I think the question that might keep coming up is this a valid question? How do I get myself there?
You're already there. How did you get yourself where it isn't? That's the question. How did you remove yourself from what it is? So that's the question. Not how you get there, but how you get out of here. Right? The mental noise. How do you get out of there? So, right? This kind of like, what is the word? Self-dividing subjectivism. Denial and negation of what it is. Based upon, let's say, the ignorant assumption that it has to be something you have to think about. It has to be a certain thought, say, process or solution in a phrase or something, an answer. When there is none. See? That's the dog chasing its tail. There is none. See? Let it all go.
Because it might...
Let it all go, and you found what it always is.
There may be a sense that there needs to be a journey because it may seem like you're describing an experience or a state of consciousness or an awareness that is other than what is here now.
That's what others think. It doesn't make it true. To assume means to create. Doesn't mean it's true. It's an assumption. Could be a presumption for some people, believing there's more, there's other than what is here now, which in terms of the power of realization is not so. The divide does not exist in truth. The divide exists in self-mind, other mind, self-other mind, other selfness, self-otherness, differentiation, distinction. It's a step on the path. Letting go is the release of the heart, right, to itself, the infinite. And still doing what you have to do. Still being a pain, if you have to be a pain, you can do it, but from a viewpoint of liberation. See? Be yourself, but then be your selflessness. Don't believe yourself. Don't validate self as limitation or assumption or thinking thought forms, see? Or being thought forms, or being what would be considered for some people like crazy wisdom, ideas. It's none of that. It's subtler than all of that. Ordinarily, everyone is subject to their time machineness. The time machine. They're walking, living calculators. Little, maybe big computers. Computing all the time. Not really living, but computing. Not really breathing, but computing. Not really loving, but computing all the time. Noise. Necessary. I mean, it's self-created necessity. Occupationally correct. Functioning, maybe. But what about this? I don't mean the flesh bag, but the so-called heart center, which the flesh bag represents, the truth of that. This is the truth of enlightened mind. But it's not because it's form. It's not because it's formlessness. Because it's the actual presence of enlightened mind. As everything is. So you can enjoy your life from that point on. You can maybe even be happy from that point on, if you dare to.
It seems like a lot of the discussion of practice is self-defeating and circular, in that it may prevent or obscure that absolutely fundamental, basic gati experience. And yet the discussion wants to keep dancing. We want to keep...
Well, the gati experience has nothing to do with anybody. Or what they need or don't need. It's radical. It's inconceivable. But it's our nature. That's inconceivable. That's hard to fathom for most people. You have to stop, look, and listen very deeply, very finely, to get into what the essence is. I want to say heart presence. It's mysterious. Right? It's inaccessible to most, who care more about their noise than their stillness. It is for the few, and that's by sacred intention. So, in a manner of speaking, you have to earn it. You can't just assume, well, because you can talk about it, it belongs to everybody and everybody's going to get it. That's impossible. It's a different tone, it's a different level. See, it's a different frequency of awareness. Super subtle. Super soul. Super present. Very few get it. And it's not because of itself they can't get it, it's because of themselves that don't get it. When the openness is sufficient, what it is can be seen, felt, heard, known, realized, and enjoyed to no end. Open. Ultimate practice, open, and open beyond that, and open beyond that, ad infinitum, be undone by the heart's bliss.